Hello everyone, welcome into Deacon's NFL Talk. I'm your host Deacon, and welcome back to another episode on the channel, episode 33 on the channel. And today we have another packed episode this week. This week we have quite a bit of topics. I think we have about 4 or 5, maybe 6 this week. Then we have a few quick hits, not as many as what we're used to. After quick hits, we'll get back. We're gonna start getting back into the in-season stuff, which we haven't been able to do for the last couple of weeks because I'm still trying to get back into the groove from when I was on vacation. I know it's taking a while. But then after the quick hits, we have reactions, quite a few reactions. We have a Week 8 recap. And then after that, we have predictions for Week 9, stardom, sit-em for NFL Fantasy. And then to cap it off, we have one question of the week. I cannot wait to get into episode 33 of Deacon's NFL Talk. Alright, everybody, we're going to jump right into this. So we're going to start off with the first topic, as always. And the first topic is going to be about Jaguars wide receiver Christian Kirk, who suffered a season-ending broken collarbone injury just this past week. Really devastating news for Jaguars fans. I mean, the Jaguars have really had nothing to cheer about this year at all. And it's really disappointing. Like, the Jaguars, even their general manager said that this is the best roster we may have ever had in a long time. And obviously it's not. I mean, if it is, then they haven't been capable of completing their expectations or any of that. But honestly, I feel like I kind of feel a little bit bad for the Jaguars because, I mean, you have the pieces. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, if he can play really good football like he did that one year, 2021, I believe, where he came back and beat the Los Angeles Chargers, if he can get back to that form, they're going to be fine. If they didn't lose Christian Kirk, you have Brian Thomas Jr., who's your other receivers? Zay Jones, I don't know if you still have him or not. I think he's on the Cardinals now. But when you have the weapons, and even Evan Ingram and Travis Etienne, you have the weapons on offense, and your defense is pretty good too. So when you the Jaguars have really fallen off, and I really do feel bad for them. Like, I wish that they were not in this position. I mean, as a Bengals fan, I totally get it. I understand. I know how it feels. I mean, Kirk finished the year with 27 catches, 379 yards, and one touchdown through 7 weeks. So really not they're mind-blowing numbers. So yeah, I mean, I would say we can all agree that the Jaguars have really been struggling this year. I mean, unfortunately, this is the final year on Kirk's contract, and will be a free agent by next off season. After this season. And I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know. Trevor Lawrence has not worked, and I don't know if they can somehow fix that. I don't know if they'll I don't know what's going to happen, right? I don't know what's running through in their office. I mean, you were close to beating you were really close to beating the Packers last week, 30-27. You were close. All right, and that's a good Packers team. But obviously, injuries is what's holding the Jaguars back after this week for sure. So, yeah, there's nothing to cheer about for the Jaguars this year. And guess what? It only got worse. Brian Thomas Jr., the Jaguars wide receiver, is now day-to-day with a chest contusion. So it just got worse. I don't know. This is probably one of the worst scenarios that the Jaguars could possibly be in. I mean, you're supposed to be a top 10 team this year. Failed those expectations. You lose Christian Kirk for the year, and now Brian Thomas Jr. is day-to-day as of what I've checked out. So Thomas was originally predicted to return in 2 to 4 weeks, but luckily for him in Jacksonville, he'll return much sooner than what was planned. 2 to 4 weeks would have been a huge blow to this Jaguars offense. And adding him, I would say he's not been a jaw-dropping rookie, but he has been very manageable for the Jaguars. There is a chance he plays Week 9, and the reason why I say that Brian Thomas Jr. is been really manageable, and he's been really playing really solid football. I mean, he leads all rookies in receiving yards with 573 yards and 5 touchdowns on only 33 catches. He's had a very solid year as a rookie, and I mean he's just starting to learn. I mean, he's gonna get much better as the year goes on, and as the more he plays in the NFL. The Jaguars will need to get healthy soon because Kirk obviously is done for the year. Gabe Davis suffered a shoulder injury last week as well. So, I mean, they're just really banged up on offense right now. I mean, all three of your top receivers. I have not heard much about Gabe Davis. I actually haven't heard anything since I've looked at that. So, he could be good to go. I will look it up. But, obviously, it just stinks for the Jaguars. I mean, losing Kirk and then losing Brian Thomas Jr. and then eventually Gabe Davis. So, I'm going to look at it here. Here's a Jaguars injury report. Questionable. Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. are both questionable as of what I'm looking at right now. So, obviously, that could change by Sunday. It could be a game time decision. We could find out later today. Who knows? But, yeah, hopefully the Jaguars can get healthier. And at this point, the Jaguars should start tanking a little bit. That way you can get top draft pick. So, that's just my opinion, though. But, all right, third topic. Packers quarterback Jordan Love has a shot to play in Week 9 after straining his groin last week. I feel like Jordan Love has been getting banged up quite a bit this year. I mean, obviously that low ankle sprain that he suffered in Week 1 or so, that obviously was huge for Green Bay. I mean, he came back and it was projected to be like a month or so injury, like 6 or 4 to 8 weeks or something. I don't know what it was, but it was projected to be a much longer time that he'd be out. But he came back 2 weeks later, and then he was a little bit iffy. Then the next week after that, he played really good football. But he underwent MRI on Monday and had no timetable when he would return to the field. So yeah, I am gonna pull up the Packers injury report. I feel like there's been so many injuries this year that I'm just gonna have to do this every episode now. So Jordan Love is questionable. Question as of what I'm looking at right now, currently. He's questionable, but it is realistic he could play. Obviously, like I said, the head topic has a shot to play Week 9. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur had a high level of concern for the young quarterback. Obviously, when he was injured earlier this year, I mean that was a horrible injury, and then he just thrived right through it. I mean he did everything right to get back on the field. But I think it was probably around halftime. LaFleur told the Fox broadcast after the injury that Love couldn't really move around normally. So, yeah, that was a week ago, 6 days ago pretty much. And when you can't move around like that, when you can't move around normally at least, that's impressive, okay? That could just be me. But, yeah, hopefully Jordan Love will play this week because they do have they are going to play a good team, all right? I believe that, yeah, you're playing Detroit. They're going to play in Green Bay, which is much better than going to Detroit, I'll tell you that. But playing in Green Bay against a Lions team that looks like the best team in football, I had them number 1 in my power rankings. The Lions are the best team in football. The Packers aren't too far behind. I would not be shocked if this was an intense game. I hope I can watch this game because it is going to be a brawl. I'm going to tell you that. All right, fourth topic of the week. Stefon Diggs tears ACL, out for the season after a non-contact knee injury. This is the second episode in a row where we've had an injury that was a non-contact injury. So, this is just rough on the Texans. Obviously, coming off a Thursday Night Football loss to the New York Jets. Obviously shows you that they need Diggs and Nico Collins, who is still out, or still on IR from a hamstring injury he suffered in Week 5. Good news is Collins is expected to return next week. So, that's good news for Texans fans. That you can have Nico Collins and Tank Adele back together. But really, losing Diggs is huge. I mean, the worst injuries are non-contact injuries. I said that last week about Deshaun Watson. Those are the worst injuries. And, the good news is, though, that Diggs was able to walk off the field under his own power. I feel like whenever you walk off the field with your own power, it's it might not look as bad as what it eventually will be, as in this case, he tore his ACL. But I've seen multiple players walk off the field with, with their own power, but then eventually tear their ACL, kind of like this. I mean, I think it was running a route, and then I don't really know the whole info on that. But yeah, really, that's a huge blow to the Texans offense. I mean, obviously we saw what they look like without Stefon Diggs and Nico Collins on Thursday night. I mean, that was wild. I don't know. The Jets had that in them still. I mean, the Texans quarterback, though, C.J. Stroud, had to rely on Joe Mixon, Tank Dell, and Dalton Schultz on Thursday night. So, yeah, I mean, it was rough. I'll tell you that. And I was watching, like, the first half of that game. That game was so boring. Like, it was mistakes, like fumbles, dropping the ball before they got to the end zone. I will get that into reactions in a little bit. But, yeah, it was just a defensive game that in the first half. And then all of a sudden the Jets came out and won. So, but originally Diggs was not expected to play Week 9, but then they eventually marked him or labeled him as a season-ending injury. So he will not play for the rest of the year, which stinks for the Texans. I really do feel bad for him. I mean, as a Bengals fan, I know it's not your quarterback, but I remember Joe Burrow's season-ending ACL tear that he had in his rookie year. It just is horrible. I mean, obviously, I feel like Burrow's was worse than Diggs, but I'm not saying that Stefon Diggs isn't important. But at least he walked off on the field on his own power. So it's good news that Diggs will have a full recovery. But yeah, obviously losing him for the year. The Texans, who are definitely 100% Super Bowl contenders, they're going to need him. So, all right. Last topic of the week. We don't have very much this week. I believe it's number 5. Colts bench quarterback Anthony Richardson for Joe Flacco. After Anthony Richardson claimed that he was really tired after a play. So, like, I don't really know what happened. So, I'm just going to say, yeah. So, I'm going to see what he said. I'm not going to play a video or any of that, but I'm just going to see what he said. There was a quote of him. Okay, he said, "Tired, I ain't going to lie. That was a lot of running there that I did, and I didn't think I was going to be able to go to that next play, so I just told head coach Shane Steichen that I needed a break right there." Like, if we do that, dude, like, that's just a bad look for Anthony Richardson. And I had him being the 7th best quarterback in the league during the offseason. Honestly, from the first 4 games he had his rookie year, I thought he looked really good. I really liked him. I thought he was underrated 100%. This year's been completely different. You cannot be that lazy. Seriously, you're that lazy? You don't even think you could. I mean, sure, you do a lot of running, but, like, come on, man. Come on. Like, the Colts decided to bench Richardson when he took himself out in Sunday's 23-20 loss versus the Texans. So, I feel like people said he was like the next, like, Patrick Mahomes or something, who's going to be the next. He has an arm, I'll tell you that. He has a great arm. He can throw it. He has accuracy. I mean, the accuracy is going to have to get worked on, obviously. He has the power. I was going to say he has the power, not the accuracy. His accuracy is a little bit iffy. Some throws he can just be, like, right on it. Some throws it's just way off. And, I mean, Richardson's only won three out of his 6 starts with a completion percentage of 44.4%, which is down by 15.1% from last year's 59.5%. Also, by the way, Richardson has a 4-7 touchdown interception ratio this year. Like, 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So Anthony Richardson has played less weeks, or Anthony Richardson has more interceptions than Anthony Richardson has starts. Like, that is just humiliating. And what makes it even worse, he was too lazy to get back up and go to the next play. Like, I don't care. Like, I think he tapped his helmet like it was a head injury, which it wasn't. I mean, you at least got to, like, and, like, I saw that. Then the very next play was a run play. Like, if you're tired, just tell your coach, "Hey, I'm tired. Can we run the ball?" Or something. Like, we can't just be going late. I mean, doing lazy stuff. I mean, at this point, sitting him for one play was better. I mean, Joe Flacco's obviously been the better quarterback so far with the Colts, and now with Joe Flacco in, I feel like they're definitely going to have a better chance of making the playoffs. I mean, last Sunday was absolutely horrific. I mean, Richardson completed only 10 of his 32 passes for 175 yards, 5 sacks, and 2 fumbles last week. That is just unacceptable. Very unacceptable. So you need to tell me that he had 22 incomplete passes, 10 completions, Only 175 yards. Jamar Chase has had more yards than 175 yards in one game. 5 sacks. I mean, I don't know if that's on you or if that's on the O-line. And 2 fumbles, one which was recovered by Richardson. Like, Anthony Richardson has 100% failed my expectations that I had for him. Like I said, I had him being a top 10 quarterback this year. And that's obviously not aged. That has aged like milk. I'm telling you that. And it is not looking good for Anthony Richardson. I mean, I'm not saying that this is career ending. I just don't know what's going to happen next with him. I would say, if anything, once maybe Joe Flacco retires, they might. I mean, I feel like you have weapons around him. I mean, you have Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, I believe. Who's their tight end? Their tight end's name. They also have that other wide receiver, Alec Pierce. I think they still have him. I forget their tight end's name. I feel like he's good. You have a decent O-line. You have the weapons there. I mean, the weapons are around him, but I mean, they're not like top 10 weapons or anything like that, but they're weapons they're good enough weapons. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But that's just my take on them. I feel like Joe Flacco is 100% the better quarterback. I feel like he's better for Indianapolis. I feel like this was the right choice, but we'll see what happens by the end of the year. We'll see. All right, quick hits. Cowboys defensive end Sam Williams suspended 3 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. Williams is dealing with an ACL injury he suffered in training camp. So I don't think. Obviously, you're like, oh, why would this affect him? I feel like he's not allowed to participate in I don't know. He's not allowed to participate in something, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter for him. He's already done for the year. Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh gets heart monitor removed. Harbaugh was diagnosed with an irregular heartbeat a few weeks ago. So good news to see him getting back to normal health. The Patriots decided to make the Chiefs even better by trading linebacker Josh Uche to the Chiefs for a 2026 6th-round pick. Uche has 2 sacks through 7 games in 2024, and he will also look to get back to the 2022 version of himself when he broke out with 11.5 sacks. That year was insane for him, underrated for sure. I mean, but the Chiefs coaching staff, they're only going to make him 10 times better than he was in 2022. Vikings acquired Jaguars left tackle Cam Robinson in a trade. The Vikings also receive a 2026 7th-round pick, which could disappear based on playing time. Based on playing time that Robinson receives, Jacksonville will get a 2026 5th-round pick in return, which can become a 4th-rounder based on playing time. The trade really benefits Minnesota. I mean, obviously, Christian Darrisaw suffered a season-ending knee injury, which was a huge blow to him being a top 10 tackle in the league as well. But Robinson has only allowed 4 sacks all season. So, I mean, really, you're really like almost replacing Christian Darrisaw with Christian Darrisaw. So, all right, reactions. All right, let's start off the week with a absolutely mind-blowing touchdown to win it with 2 seconds in the 4th quarter. You guys don't even know what I'm talking about. Jaden Daniels, man. Offensive Rookie of the Year lock. Like, oh my goodness, this man is insane. You got to watch this guy. Like, watch this play. All right, here we go. 2 seconds left, 15-12. The Bears had a game-winning drive. It's what it was going to look like, and Jaden Daniels scrambling. Like, I mean, how do you do this? Like, he just bombs it. Tipped up. And it is caught by Noah Brown. You've got to be kidding me. There's no way that just happened. I'm telling you, like, Jaden Daniels, dude, he is something special. I'm so happy for Washington. They finally have something to cheer about. And there is no easier catch than that one right there. I'm still mind blown. Yeah, I have 0 words. And I'm so happy for Washington that they're playing the way they're playing. Obviously, if you guys didn't know, I am a Bengals fan. So in 2021, when we broke out, I know that feeling whenever your team sucks and then they finally break out one year. And I hope Washington doesn't end up like Cincinnati, where they play really good their first year and second year, and then they start falling off. This That was insane. But I will say, before the Hail Mary, all right, this is a low light. So we're going to start, instead of reactions, we're going to call them highlights and low lights. This is the first low light of the week. Before the Hail Mary, honestly, this is where I don't even feel bad for the Bears at all. I'm going to play it right here. 29, right there. He's taunting Commanders fans. The balls don't even snap. They're at the 20-yard line when he actually starts doing something. And he starts taunting. All right, Jay Nail is scrambling. Obviously, it doesn't really matter since he was already scrambling anyway. But the funny part is, guess who tipped the ball to help the Commanders win? Number 29, Tyrique Stevenson. He taunted, and he's also the reason the Commanders won the game. And that is the definition of karma. Like, that's wild. There is... I don't even know why. Like, he just lost all his... Like, he just, like, wasn't even thinking about the game. He was celebrating way too early. And that is, like I said, the definition of karma. How and why would you ever do that? There's just no way that just happened. But, yeah, that's in the Commanders-Bears game. We still have quite a bit more quick highlights and lowlights, I guess I should say. Look at this New York Giants, Sunday Night Football, or Monday night. I don't know when it was. I think it was Monday night. This 2-point attempt is something else. And this is definitely not a highlight. It's a low light. So, before I play it, here's the lineup. As you can see, we have receiver down to the bottom of your screen. We have 3 offensive linemen. Daniel Jones is behind them. We have, 4 blockers on the top of your screen. 5 blockers, sorry. And then you have a receiver behind them. That's Malik Neighbors, I believe. Look at this play. All right. Here we go. Snaps it. Nobody's blocking anybody. Nobody's even blocking. I don't know what the New York Giants were doing, but that was just horrible. That was absolutely horrible. I don't know what they were doing. So, I don't know. That was just really bad. You know it's bad when Daniel Jones is upset at his blockers. I mean, that was just really poor. That's another low light, by the way. Let's go to the last low light of the week, and it's Malachi Corley's fumble before he even reached the end zone. Okay? All right, so here we go. Rodgers snaps the ball. Play action. It's a toss to Corley. It was going to be a touchdown. And he fumbles the ball right before he scores. And if you look at the slow motion here, kind of, like, I guess, he definitely fumbles. Look at that. That is just poor. That is bad. Yeah, I was watching this game. I was watching it on replay, and I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I honestly felt bad for the Jets, but obviously they went out to win the game anyway. But like, still, like, I gotta think because like the Jets have had nothing to cheer about this year before the loss or before the win. Excuse me. Before the win, they've had nothing to cheer about, and I just felt so bad for Jets fans. I mean, literally before, like during the game, Jets fans started chanting "Sell the team." I'm not even kidding. Jets fans quite literally started chanting, "Sell the team." I mean, I don't know if there's any videos of it, but look it up. It was just, that was wild. So, all right, then we're going to end off the week with a highlight. Garrett Wilson, the one-handed catch, arguably the catch of the year, 2nd and 12. Here we go. Rodgers snaps the ball. I know that Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers duo is good. That is the first one. All right, I'm not going to get the catch of the year yet, but that was the first one. That one-handed catch on like a slant, I believe. I could be wrong, or a drag or something. But look at that. That is really good. All right, then now we're going to go to the catch of the year, arguably the catch of the year. And I'm telling you, the catch of the year is either this one or the Justin Jefferson one. Like the one against the Rams, that was insane. But I feel like this one might be a little bit better, only because it's one-handed. And I don't know, it's just, I think it looks much better. Look at this. Look at that. He one-handed that in the back of the end zone. That is ridiculous. Like, I don't really know. Like, he barely got in. I don't even know if this counted because I wasn't watching the game. But he barely got in. Like, that is what an outstanding snag. He is lucky that counted. I mean, it kind of feels like the George Pickens thing where he caught the ball and the same foot touched the ground at a different moment in time, which I think is kind of stupid. I mean, it's still technically two feet in. But yeah, that is 100% catch year, and that's all for highlights and lowlights. We're gonna go on to the Week 8 recap, and what a week it was! A wild week. On Thursday night, the Vikings lost 30-20 to the Rams. The Packers barely squeezed by the Jaguars 30-27. The Cardinals made a game-winning field goal to beat the Dolphins 28-27. I guess the Dolphins don't need to after all. The Patriots beat the Jets 25-22. What a shocker. That, honestly, I was surprised when I saw that. The Browns beat the Ravens. Jameis Winston is giving life. He's given the Browns life now. The Eagles absolutely obliterated the Bengals by 20, 37-17. Every game for the Bengals now is a must-win. The Texans beat the Colts 23-20. The Lions obliterated the Titans 52-14. That shows you how good they are. The Falcons beat the Buccaneers 31-26. Injuries has really slowed the Buccaneers down, obviously. The Chargers beat the Saints 26-8. They could honestly possibly be playoff contenders. The Bills beat the Seahawks 31-10. The Commanders beat the Bears 18-15 by a Hail Mary because Jaden Daniels is him. The Chiefs beat the Raiders 27-20. At first, the Raiders were winning at some point. Then the Broncos beat the Panthers 28-14. 49ers beat the Cowboys 30-24 on Sunday Night Football. And the Steelers barely beat the Giants 26-18. The Giants had multiple opportunities, but they just could not come up with them. All right. We're nearing the end of the episode, and we might be a little over time this week. But here we go. Week 9 predictions. The notebook is out again. I didn't do this last week. I had to get it over with because I was really busy. But all right. Week 9 predictions. Did not start off the week very good at all. I predicted Houston to beat the New York Jets. That did not go well. The Jets beat the Texans on Thursday Night Football, on Halloween, I should say. So yeah, not a good start to the week. But on Sunday at noon or 12 o'clock, or not 12, at 1 o'clock, whatever you want to call it, I just call it noon. I have the Saints beating the Panthers. I have the Commanders beating the Giants. I have the Bills beating the Dolphins. I have the Browns beating the Chargers, even though I probably don't want that. I have the Titans beating the Patriots. That's going to be a close one, honestly. All right, you know what? We're going to change it mid-episode. I'm predicting the Patriots to beat the Titans. Dude, if I'm wrong, please make fun of me because I feel like sometimes I don't side with my gut and it's wrong. So make fun of me if I get this wrong. I have Atlanta beating Dallas. Obviously, they're really banged up, obviously. Cincinnati's going to need a must-win against the Raiders. I have Cincinnati beating the Raiders. Since Lamar is projected to play against the Broncos, I have the Ravens beating the Broncos in a tight one by at least 3. And then I have Chicago beating Arizona, Philly smoking by Jacksonville. I have the Rams beating Seattle. I have Detroit beating Green Bay in a very close game. I have Minnesota beating the Colts on Sunday Night Football. And then on Monday night, I have the Chiefs beating the Buccaneers. So right now, I'm sitting at a 71-53 overall record. I'm currently 0-1 on the week. And it's November, but on the month of October, I went 40-21 in the month of October. So there you have it. Those are my Week 9 predictions. Now let's go to NFL Fantasy Stardom Situm. All right, so I'm gonna pull it up here. I will also get to the Deacon's NFL Talk Fantasy League, and who's winning what or whatever. But all right, quarterback. Start Patrick Mahomes against the Buccaneers. Matthew Stafford against the Seahawks. Sam Darnold against the Colts. Bo Nix against the Ravens. And Caleb Williams against the Cardinals. Sit Jared Goff against the Green Bay Packers. I might want to take some notes. I am starting him this week, but I might not anymore. CJ Stroud against the Jets. Obviously, that was just Thursday. Dak Prescott against the Falcons. Tua Tagovailoa against the Bills. And Aaron Rodgers against the Houston Texans. So it never said anything about Josh Allen, so I might start Josh Allen instead of Jared Goff. So now we're going to go to running backs. All right, running backs is actually might be pretty decent this week. I have a really good running back duo. But start DeAndre Swift against the Cardinals, Tony Pollard against the Patriots, Kareem Hunt against the Buccaneers, Chuba Hubbard against the Saints, James Conner against the Bears, and Chase Brown against the Raiders. Sit Bucky Irving and Rachaad White against the Chiefs, Javonte Williams against the Ravens, Nick Chubb against the Chargers, Rico Dowdle against the Falcons, and Alexander Madison against the Bengals. So, yeah, those are for running backs, and we're going to go to wide receivers for this week. Start Terry McLaurin against the Giants. Start DJ Moore against the Cardinals. Start Amari Cooper and Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir against the Dolphins. So, yeah, just have two receivers and then make Khalil Shakir or somebody the slot receiver. Also start Ladd McConkey against the Browns, Calvin Ridley against the Patriots, and Cedric Tillman against the Chargers. Sit Zay Flowers against the Broncos, Deontay Johnson against the Broncos as well. Jalen McMillan against the Chiefs, Jordan Addison against the Colts, and Roma Dunze against the Arizona Cardinals. Then we're going to go to tight ends. We have tight ends, kickers, and defenses. Then after that, we will move on to the question of the week. Start Kyle Pitts against the Cowboys, Evan Ingram against the Eagles, Cade Otton against the Chiefs, Sam Laporta against Green Bay, Dalton Schultz against the Jets. Obviously, that was just Thursday. And Noah Fant against the Rams. Sit TJ Hawkinson against the Colts, Hunter Henry against the Titans, Zach Ertz against the Giants, Isaiah Likely against the Broncos. And that's all for tight ends. So let me know in the comments, though, if you want me to do the Thursday night newsletter or something, whatever you want to call it, where I give you the latest news, fantasy news, betting odds if you want, prediction, all that. Like on Thursday that we have all the info for the Thursday Night Football since my episodes are on Saturdays. Kickers. Start Austin Cyber against the Giants, Younghoe Koo against the Cowboys, Kami Fairbairn against the Jets, Jake Elliott against the Jaguars, Chase McLaughlin against the Chiefs, Jake Bates against the Packers, Cameron Dicker against the Browns, Blake Groupie against the Panthers, and Will Ricard against the Colts. Sit Evan McPherson against Raiders. He has been absolutely selling. Like, he is not his old self like he was. Tyler Bass against the Dolphins, Daniel Carlson against the Bengals, Caro Santos against the Cardinals, Cam Little against the Eagles, Joshua Carty against the Seahawks, Joey Sly against the Titans, Nick Folk against the Patriots, and Eddie Pinerio against the Saints. All right, the last one, the defenses. All right, here we go. We are a little bit over time this week. Start the Bengals defense against the Raiders, the Saints defense against the Panthers, the Commanders defense against the Giants, the Patriots defense against the Titans, and the Titans defense against the Patriots. That's interesting. Sit the Broncos defense over the Ravens, the Packers defense against the Lions, the Ravens defense over the Broncos. So, yeah, pretty much sit the Broncos and Ravens defenses and the Patriots and Titans defenses. If you have at least one of those four, just don't start them. Sit the Giants defense over the Commanders and the Seahawks defense over the Rams. That's all for start 'em, sit 'em this week. We're gonna go to the question of the week quickly here. How long will Patriots quarterback Drake May be out? I do not know if he is actually practicing right now. I'm going to look it up here. So, yeah, he suffered a concussion last week. So, I mean, we'll see Drake May is questionable. So, I would say, hear me out. If Drake May is not starting on Sunday, I'm taking the Titans. If Drake May is starting, I'm taking the Patriots. So, yeah, that's how it's going to work for me here. But how long will he be out? I would say if he's out this week, I would probably say next week he's going to return 100%. If the fact that he's questionable this week and is like a game time decision, I feel like he'll either play this week or play next week. And yeah, I think he's going to be a full go by next week. I don't think he'll be out long really, but that could just be me, it could be get serious or who knows at this point. But yeah, that is the question of the week. Put in the comments what your thoughts of the question of the week was. No quiz this week. Hopefully though, by next week we will do it again. So yeah, but thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode. If you enjoyed, hit the like and the subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified of every single upload this channel makes. And make sure to check out last week's episode where I talked about DeAndre Hopkins getting moved to the Kansas City Chiefs, which was huge. The Chiefs are going to be they're probably likely going to three-peat now. But yeah, check that one out as well. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys next week for another great episode on Deacon's NFL Talk.